someone, tell them that we had an accident on Burnt Mill Road. And you're okay?
Yeah, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Oh, that's great. That's all. Man. Oh my God. What happened, Jeremy?
We got here, dude.
Oh, the wiring just. Oh God, is anything salvageable? All right, so the socket looks good. You see the headlights back here behind the baffle. Oh.
I told you, one screw.
One screw.
Just drops to the ground.
Yeet. Yeah. All right, so I put the new outer tie rod on. Here's the old one. You can see there, there's an obvious discrepancy. So the new one, wheel's straight now without a wheel. Everything feels really tight. Everything else is really good back there. Let me get the light. Everything else looks really good. Axle boot's still good. That's a brand new axle, by the way. It's only like a year or 2 years old. Everything else is fine. Like the hub itself seems to be okay. Again, without the wheel on, so I can't really give it a good shakedown. But the only issues left are the hood needs to go. Obviously, you see this bend here. I'm gonna have to rewrap this whole quarter because it's one giant piece. The door here is a little messed up. I might leave that for a little bit. Can't really. I don't know if you're gonna be able to notice it or not. We're gonna need a new fender. This is smashed in.
Yeah.
This part looks replaceable because it was a bolt-on, and this comes out here to connect to the bottom of the fender, underneath the headlight, and right above the front bumper. I'm gonna need a new front bumper bracket up there. That is just a headlight bracket that comes with sets of headlights. That's nothing I'm worried about. Got plenty of those. Yeah, that's it. Really. And there's a little bit of a bend there. This stuff just needs to be straightened out. This needs to come back out this way, but on the other side it's hollow. I'm pretty sure, right? It's hollow. Yeah, it's hollow. So that could just be pushed back out this way. The hardest part, I think, is gonna be this, uncrinkling this. This needs to be pretty thin. This needs to come back out, which I'm gonna go ahead and do right now. Bam. Part 1 of frame restoration done. Other than that, she's good, bro.
So you drive it like this?
Yeah, I'm just gonna drive it like this. Only during the day.
Yeah, fuck it.
Yeah, you can move now. Gotta put that rim back on, which I did not realize that wheel was so light until right now. I don't know why.
I mean, like suspension pieces that are fucked up.
Suspension pieces, nothing. As far as I could tell.
Coil's still intact.
Yeah, so other than that, it looks pretty good. So I have finally gathered all of the brackets that I need to put the car back together. As far as just the panels, which is the fender. I'm going to be keeping the hood, the front bumper, so I can put the front bumper and the fender back on. Sadly, I wasn't able to reuse. I was able to reuse a lot of things and just kind of like bend them back in the meantime. But in order for me to put panels back on, they need to be aligned. Otherwise, you're going to have gaps and things they just aren't going to fit. So at the junkyard, found a bunch of brackets that I can reuse. I got my fender. I've had this for quite a while now, probably since like January. I've had the front bumper and the fender, but I've been BSing on getting these brackets. Finally found another 7th gen Accord. It was a like tannish gold champagne sedan at a junkyard. So I went there, grabbed the brackets right here. That's the old one. So yeah, let me go ahead and show you exactly what I've been waiting for. 1, 2, 3. All right, so these brackets are very important. The front end can't go on without these 3 things. All right, so this is a headlight bracket, okay? It goes underneath the headlight, like this, lines underneath the very bottom, and this is where the front bumper goes into, and this is what holds the front bumper on. Another bracket that holds the front bumper on is this. As you can see here, it's split. There's like a quarter of it missing. Found this one at a junkyard, perfectly fine. This holds the fender and the headlight on at the same time. So like, I'm pretty sure it goes like this. So this is frame, and then at the bottom here, this is where the headlight connects and the fender connects here. This is the new one. It's perfectly fine, unmolested. You can see here, this one, I had to bend it back so it's all, you know, cracked and warped everywhere. I mean, obviously, you know, half of this fender is just gone. There's a few things that I'm gonna have to still wait on, like the fender flare here. Like those things, like all this stuff was measured out to fit, you know, and then with my wheel spacers, and this headlight isn't the same as that headlight because it doesn't have the LED strip in there. There's a few little other tiny things, but those things can wait. I'm okay with that. I'm hoping that I'm not gonna have to cut this today because that wheel is bigger than that wheel because I needed something to just throw in the car and drive. So that wheel's a little bit big. I think it's a 245/45. My car takes 220/40s, I think that they are, 220/40s. So this one's actually quite a bit bigger. So I'm gonna go in and take off, because I have 50mm spacers, take it off that side, and hopefully it'll push the wheel in enough so I don't have to cut this. But I'm hoping I do not have to do that today. And once I get this on, then I can go to where my front bumper's at. Front bumper's too big for me to be rolling around in the car. So I have to go to where the front bumper is, where I'm keeping it, and then I'm gonna be putting that on. But today, I'm gonna be taking off that wheel spacer, putting the wheel back on, then taking this, lining it up, throwing that on there with all these new brackets. Or not new, but, you know, new to me. With one, two, three. All right, so little change in plans. I ended up taking my rear wheel and putting it up here in the front because I realized that I'm not going to be able to just take off the wheel spacer to make space, because I cut back the lug nut stems to put the wheel spacers on because they're going to interfere with the rims. So that wasn't an option, so I took the bigger wheel and threw it in the back. Turns out I have just enough room back there to ride along with that. And before I leave here today, I'll raise up the rear probably about a ½ inch or so. That way I don't have to worry about that rubbing. But yeah, now the stock wheel's up here. I have another tire for my other rim. I just have to go to a shop and have it go put on. But in the meantime, I'm gonna just keep this wheel up here. And now I'm gonna go ahead and throw this fender on. I'm gonna go ahead and time lapse this. There's really no reason, because I already know that it's going to fit. So there's nothing for me to like tweak or anything. So I'm just gonna be time lapsing this. Fender's going on. One, two, three. All right, so as you can see, after a ton of wrestling with it, because everything under there is smashed off, it is on now, but over here, it's overlapped a little bit, and I'm not worried about this because it was messed up from the accident. So I'm gonna need help, because this middle part needs to be pulled out some. For that to go in, pretty much the whole entire thing, like pretty much like, because it's aftermarket, going to be molding it pretty much to this. It's just in the same shape, but the holes don't match up where they're supposed to be. This down here was quite difficult to do on my own. I'm going to need another grown man with me to go ahead and pull this out, but everything's sturdy. It's staying.
Actually,
It's only a
move the
little
fender
tiny
around
bit
and make sure
different than
everything
that
lines
side.
up.
It's not like a massive difference. There's not like giant gaps or anything, but it's good enough for right now. Now when I go put the front one, so I have to go ahead and cut this section out.
All right, guys.
just like my
So
other one.
now that I have the fender on,
for my
alright,
fog lights,
I got the front bumper here.
I have to
kind of just
carve
put it on to
these-
make sure that it was the one, you know, for
bezels
this
out
car. I
right
haven't
here.
really messed with it since I bought it.
carve
but
those
just
out
wanted
so I can
to
put my
double
fog
check.
lights back in.
So,
and you see here where I had to cut it along this fender because this wheel is what is it, 9.5. The wheel's 9.5, tires at 220, 225, 40. So just imagine another 1.5 inches of metal right here. The car wouldn't actually even move because it goes straight down actually. So you can see here the front bumper where I had cut it before. So this isn't, you know, an issue here. I had to do that for this side, but also for this side's only hanging off because I didn't put the brackets in there. But this nub has to be cut off, and then for the fender, I have to cut all this away. This is the stock wheel before I put the regular one on, which is in the trunk. So all of that has to be cut, and then I can go ahead and put the regular wheel back on. Gonna do this first, front bumper. All right, so I cut off the piece right here, a little bit of extra plastic on there, smooth enough. Then with the fog lights, so I put my fog lights in. Did that on each side. So the next thing is for me to put my fog lights in. So obviously one of them got obliterated in the accident. So I have, what side is this? 2 driver sides and then 1 passenger. But the issue is with my passenger one here, you see that is broken. I guess a rock came up and smacked it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take apart one of these, clean them up obviously because it's all, you know, foggy and nasty on the inside. Clean it up, take the glass off of one of the driver side ones and put it on the passenger side one. That way all my glass is nice. Yeah, so I ended up just being able to take it and flip it around and put it on the passenger side one. So it still works exactly the same, except there's not this adjusting screw here is now dead. I can't use it because normally it would go up here, but that's okay. One, two, three. All right, so now I have 2 working fog lights, 1 for each side. The yellow part here doesn't really bother me because the light inside of there is actually a yellow bulb anyway, so that I could care less about that. Now I'm gonna take these, put them on the front bumper, take the front bumper, gotta walk it over to the car. I'm gonna have to make sure that the wiring, I'm not too sure, but I'm pretty sure that the wiring for the passenger side fog light got destroyed in the accident. So if that is the case, I've got tons of extra wires and, you know, relays and stuff that I can run, but I'm hoping that that's not the case and I can just plug it in and go. So, but that was really quick. Go put these simple. The fog
lights.
However, these aren't brand new,
bumper.
so there's going to be, you know, their own scuffs and, you know, scratches and stuff on them. But at least I have some again, so I'm not really too worried about that right now. We're just looking for functionality, not form. So I'm gonna go ahead now. I'm out of breath because I had to get up from being on my knees. So unfit, it's ridiculous. So I gotta go over there. I'm gonna cut
the fender liner out. Not the fender liner. I'm going to cut the fender around the fender so I can put the other wheel. Got a brand new tire on that wheel. Throw that back on the car. Take this, go put it on the car. Then I'm going to carve where the bumper is, where I
All right, so yeah, thanks to, you know, all you guys that have been sticking around waiting for the car to finally get put back together. You know, I was BSing for a while, to be honest, but at the same time, these things do take time, and like the frame itself will, the apron, you know, or baffle, whatever you want to call it, for the passenger side had to be pulled back out and all that stuff, and I needed help with all those things, and I don't really hang out with a lot of other car people that would be useful. It's more like, hey, can you do this, can you do this, can you do this? I need someone with their own, you know, kind of input, and me not have to, you know, sit there and walk anybody through to do anything. But yeah, it's all back together now. Gonna be getting it rewrapped. Don't know when yet, but I guess I'm just gonna be driving around like this for now. I do need another the front lip part. I don't like looking at the front end of this car without that front lip. It's a completely different car when the actual front lip is on it. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. The Honda's back in shape. Not perfect shape. It's not as pretty as it once was, but we will get it back there eventually. This is a process. These things cost a lot of time and money. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in, you know, checking on the car, make sure that everything's cool. I just hit my 900,000 views, which is awesome. So sometime soon I'm definitely going to be hitting that 1 million mark. We just hit 2,000 subscribers, feeling like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But yeah, everything's going great here, man. I really do appreciate you guys and all the all the support and all the shout outs and everything. Also, big shout out to Mr. Rock Johnson. I'm gonna leave his channel, the link to his channel down below. He had this car meet down in Maryland. Me and a few of my buddies drove down there. Me and Andrew from 88 Motoring and my nephew from IFS Garage. We all drove down there. We met some really cool people. It was a really good time, man. Thanks a lot for that. That was really cool. Appreciate you guys.
Find me in the corner of the room, not ready to resume, 'cause like
Like,